Hey everybody, this is Robot here from Vespa Motorsport and Scooter West here in sunny San Diego. For all things Vespa here in North America, check us out on the web, scooterwest.com. Right here I got a 2019 Vespa Primavera 150 in Dragon Red. Beautiful bike. One thing about it, doesn't have an LED headlight. Has those awesome LED running lights, but the headlight is just regular old halogen. To take care of that problem, we have two solutions for you, or actually three solutions for you. We have the new LED retrofit that has a nice mean and aggressive look. Part number on this is 642661-LED. And we have two other less expensive options, one being the OEM LED headlight module found on the European 2018 and later Primaveras. You can watch our other video on how to install that. Find that on the web. Part number is right down below for the European headlight assembly. Or the least expensive LED option gives you the cool LED, cool white look. It's part number H4-LED, super simple install. Again, we have videos to install that. But today I'm going to cover installing the mean and aggressive all aluminum, high quality. I think it's got a 7-element, 7 lenses in there. Ultra bright, 42 watts of LED power. It's like a couple times brighter than the standard light. And plus it looks super duper cool. Housing on this is all aluminum. It's all sealed up. It's got the standard headlight connector. It's got an optional wire that will show how to connect for powering the Angel Eye running light. So the whole perimeter of the headlight assembly has a bunch of LEDs in it. So when you just key up the bike, headlight's not on, but you'll see a whole bunch of LEDs that light up. Looks super duper cool. Let's get to installing this. I'll show you the tools that are needed and we'll fire it up. So only 3 basic tools are needed to do this job. You're gonna need a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, standard size screwdriver, a T25 Torx star driver, and a 3mm Allen key. So first of all, we got to gain access to the headlight assembly. To do so, we need to remove the chrome bezel and this upper handlebar cover. The mirrors can stay in place. If you do want to remove them, you can. Makes the job ever so slightly easier. I've taken quite a few of these off and just nowadays don't bother removing the mirrors. A pair of screws at 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock just behind the bezel. These hold the bezel. Very small screws. You have a pair of them. Disengage the bezel, kind of pull forward from the bottom of the bezel. So I'm pulling there, kind of working my hands up towards the top and disengaging the single clip. And just take care when removing the bezel, because oftentimes the clips that the screws thread into want to stay behind with the handlebar covers. So you can see they started to pop off, but they're with the bezel. If they do pop off, pretty easy to retrieve, no big deal. So underneath the handlebar covers, there's 4 wells where screws reside. Use a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, remove all 4 of those screws. Keep in mind the rear 2 screws are going to be longer, and I'll show you the longer screw here. So the rear screws are longer, front screws are shorter. So with all 6 screws removed, the top cover just lifts away from the lower cover and handlebars of the scooter. You know, take care not to drag the painted surface across the mirrors. If you have any difficulty, you can get a credit card or a plastic spudger, you know, something you use to like open up a cell phone or something. That's a kind of a common term for a pry tool specific for plastic. And go ahead and lift away. There's going to be a single connector for your speedometer. It's just best to disconnect that. Push the single button in the middle. So push that little tab and that's what releases the speedometer. Keep in mind when you disconnect this, you're not going to lose the odometer setting, but you will need to reset the clock. So here's the complete stock headlight housing that houses the halogen bulb. If you're changing the bulb, of course there's a single connector you're going to need to disconnect. You disconnect that for changing out the headlight assembly itself. A rubber cap right here, a bayonet style fitting that turns about 1/8 of a turn to the left to remove the bulb. I'm not really worried about this because I'm changing out the whole assembly. Just want to show you if you're looking just to change out the headlight bulb on a stock one. 4 Torx screws hold the headlight assembly. They're regular machine screws. I think they're 4mm machine screws if I recall. And there's going to be a washer also with these screws. Go ahead and remove those. The new headlight assembly includes new fasteners. And if you want to watch our other video for installation of the OEM headlight, a little bit more difficult job compared to the new retrofit LED headlight that we're installing right now, because you need to grind extra slots in the back of this bracket to accommodate the headlight assembly. And with the last screw, go ahead and put your hand on the headlight. Make sure it doesn't drop out the front of the scooter here. So take your new headlight assembly, has screws already installed, or they may be in a bag with this, with the kit. Remove the screws. I'm using a 3mm Allen key to remove all of these screws here. They do have these rubber pads. So once you have all 4 screws removed, you'll notice a pair of rubber spacers that are included with the headlight. If you look at the side profile, the top part is thin and the lower part is thick. And the idea here is you could flip them over if you want to aim higher, or if you want the standard aim, you leave them this direction with the letters exposed, A and B. So keep that in mind when you put the headlight assembly in. These are adjustable. If you need further adjustment, you could put washers between the headlight assembly and the screws in the bracketry of the headlight if you want to make any fine-tune adjustments to the height. So we'll take the rubber spacer, pop the screw through, and it will just kind of hold the rubber in place. You know, I'm starting out with the thin on the top, which would give you the highest aim. So the headlight would be aimed the highest. Again, it's all personal preference or how you want to set up the bike. And go ahead and start to get the screws threaded into the headlight. So we'll get the rubber spacer in place and get the screw started. You know, it's important to get all these screws started before you go to town tightening them. Make sure they go into the headlight assembly straight. You are threading into aluminum. So go ahead and just go back and forth between all 4 screws and get them all tightened up here. So to hook up the angel eye or the running light in this aftermarket headlight, you're going to need to connect to a power source that comes on when the key comes on. You want to take the included posi tap, which is this red little ferrule that has a gray end and a red end, unthread the gray end, and locate your brake light switch. There's a pair of wires coming off the brake light switch. A white that's just solid and a white with a black stripe. You want to straddle the wire that's just white and solid. It could be on either position of the brake light switch. Don't put on the white with black stripe, otherwise you'll end up with a headlight that will flash whenever you hit the brake light. So I went ahead, straddled the gray connector over that white wire, threaded it down, carefully remove this red end of the posi tap, take your single red wire and insert that through the posi tap. Thread that in, make sure you got a tight connection with no copper filaments exposed. So next, go ahead and reconnect your speedometer. So go ahead and snap the headset back into place. I'm not going to bother putting any of the screws in or the headlight bezel, but everything's connected and hooked up. I want to test the electrical operation of the headlight, and then go out for a short ride at night to make sure the aim is just perfect. So if you want to make any adjustments to the aim, like I said, you got to remove the screws from the headlight, either flip the rubber spacers around or put additional washers to change the tilt of the headlight. Wow, that looks cool. I see the angel eye is running, the perimeter LEDs, and we'll go ahead and start the scooter. Make sure the headlight works. So low beam's working and high beam's working. So we're all good. So once you're happy with the aim of the headlight and have everything tightened down inside, go ahead and reassemble the 6 screws that hold both the handlebar covers together and the headlight rim on. So make sure the seams of the handlebar covers are perfectly aligned. The long screw goes in the rear. Medium screw goes kind of towards the front of the handlebar cover. So here I got 3 new Primaveras, 3 different headlights in them. I'm going to do a quick shootout of the light pattern and the light output of the stock headlight, the LED retrofit bulb, part number H4-LED, and the brand new complete retrofit projector beam multi-element LED setup. So here I'm parked 25 feet away from the doorway here. This is the stock headlight, the incandescent halogen headlight at 55 watts. There's your low beam, and there's your high beam. So as you can see, when you go from the low beam, you completely lose the beam that projects on the ground in front of you, but get a further and wider beam. So here's a Primavera with the standard reflector and LED retrofit, part number H4-LED. You can see the color temperature is much cooler. The beam is a little bit higher with the stock reflector versus the halogen bulb, and the cutoff's not quite as good as the halogen bulb. The high beam, you can see it adds more light kind of everywhere. Here's the complete multi-element projector LED retrofit kit. You can see the beam cutoff is very nice. The spread is very good, and overall lighting is much brighter than the 2 other options, whether it's the stock halogen bulb or just an LED retrofit for the stock reflector. And I'll put it up into high beam. You see it adds quite a bit more light that throws much further down the road. You know, kind of indicated with that halo of light that's above the original horizon of the low beam. This headlight works very well at night. Someday maybe I'll do a shootout of the scooters out at night on actual road conditions and try to capture that with a camera. That's very difficult to do, as most cameras don't do very well with low light situations at night. So I hope everybody likes this pretty cool upgrade here. Check out our other videos for installation of just a standard LED bulb. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, Vespa Motorsport. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the little bell so you can see all the other new videos coming out. Lately we've been doing a couple videos a week into summer hours when I'm swamped with tons of work in the workshop. I don't make as many videos, but during this winter months, it's the perfect time to upgrade your scooter if you're in the cold climate states. San Diego people have no excuse not to ride in the winter, but they don't. I don't know what's wrong with San Diego people sometimes. Besides that, I love San Diego. Vespa Motorsport, Robot here. See you next time.